Madam Secretary.
Hello, Skip.
How are you?
I'm Joan Groh, and I'm the Secretary of State in Minnesota. As a parent and a former teacher, I'm very excited about the campaign we kick off today. The pain and the suffering which is at the heart of drug addiction has touched all of our lives, all of our families, and all of our counties here in Minnesota. We know that there's no single solution for this tragedy. We need better law enforcement to take the financial rewards out of the drug trade. We need improved access to treatment facilities to heal the victims of drugs. But I'm also convinced that the strength of our families and the power of education can be used through this treaty campaign around the counties to stop drugs at the source. Several years ago, both First Lady Nancy Reagan and the Reverend Jesse Jackson entered into national campaigns to help our young people become drug-free. Their success has spawned local efforts throughout the country. We commend our Georgia friends, where the treaty program among counties began, for setting an example of how our communities can play an active part in drug education. And here in Minnesota, Attorney General Skip Humphrey has taken a leadership role in establishing this campaign, and I share his commitment to extending this program to all of our counties. It is with an effort that we join together. We in Minnesota know that when we join together, we can accomplish things. And it is in that spirit that we urge all of you to help in an educational and promotional program to stop drug abuse, because working together, we in Minnesota know that we can make a difference.
Very good. Thank you. Senator Hughes.
Mr. Attorney General, good to see you.
Good to see you.
He was with me as a member of the Minnesota Senate. I'm Jerome Hughes, President of the Minnesota Senate. I'm very glad to be here today to support this network with the state of Georgia in a very important issue to both states and, of course, to all the people in the nation. Sometime, I hope, Skip, will have the opportunity to tell Georgia about our developing early childhood family education program in this state, where really with the preparation of childbirth, we get parents involved in their role as the first and most important educators of their children, recognizing the home as the first academy for learning. And one of the things we have to do is very early tell parents the whole issue of drugs, be they chemicals or whatever, and this area of prevention, primary prevention, is very, very important. In the network idea between the states, what we will want to do here in Minnesota is to provide leadership at the Senate level and at the House of Representatives level, probably through our Human Services, Health and Human Services Committee, hopefully get a joint committee of the Senate and the House members to tie in with the counties of the state and have an excellent network of information and establish communication links with the boards of education at the local district level, as well as parents in our community education programs and our developing early childhood and family education programs. And I'm sure that Minnesota will learn a lot from Georgia, and I'm sure that we have much that we can give in the way of ideas back to the state of Georgia.
You know, Jerry, this reminds me of many of the times when I was in the state legislature. We had so many wonderful visits with other legislators. We learned so much from each other, and this is what this whole program is about. Don't you think we'd have the same kind of reaction here as we develop this networking, as you've mentioned?
Exactly. You know, I have the opportunity to meet with many legislators in the state, presidents of senates, speakers of houses, majority, minority leaders, as well as people who chair the committees, just like you have opportunity to meet with other attorney generals in the country. And this kind of exchange of ideas will help, I think, and of course the business community, the education community, the health community, and the elected public policy people of this state, I know will get behind this program 100%.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Mr. Attorney General. I'm Colleen O'Kane, representing the St. Paul Jaycees, and the Jaycees across the nation have been aware of the problems with drugs in our children for a long time. The Minnesota Jaycees have a priority project called Alcohol and Drug Abuse, where we try to educate children in the grade schools and high schools. We are fully behind this campaign. We know it is a problem here in our state as well as the states across the nation. I challenge all Jaycees, especially those in Minnesota and Georgia where the campaign has kicked off, and all those across the entire world to get behind this campaign so we can keep drugs away from our children.
You know, it's interesting. So often people will say, well, government's got to do something about these kinds of problems. But isn't it really true that we have to do it both from the public side and the private side? Wouldn't you think that that's...
I agree it is, and belonging to a civic organization, I think it's up to us to make sure that our towns are the way we want them, and if we don't want drugs in them, we can stop them.
I'm really glad to see that the Jaycees are actively involved, but of course there are so many other service organizations too, and don't you think we should probably have those involved also?
I think they should all be involved, and I think that they'll want to be involved as soon as they find out what's happening.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Attorney General.
Yes, sir.
I'm Guy Shelley, Division Vice President with 3M Company. And we're just proud to be here today to commit ourselves to this resolution and on behalf of the company and to help our employees in the various operations to bring the best minds and the best thoughts that will help take this tragic thing away from our children and help us all grow. In fact, I'd give a personal word about the subject. My wife and my family, children, have moved some 10 times in the United States in our career with 3M Company. I have yet to have lived in a place where a son or a daughter or a mother or a father or an aunt and so on around the family hasn't been influenced in some way, shape, or form by illicit and some legal drugs. And it's just no question that it's out of control. Today, as we stand here, there are people in our company, parents and single parents and sons and daughters who aren't able really to bring their best to the job because somewhere in their family life or their association, it is tugging at their hearts. And so I just think if you take a look at what's happening here, responsible government, responsible industry companies, and responsible civic organizations, I don't see how we can't help but win.
I was just going to say, it seems to me that we must get at this problem, at its source, at the child level, if we're really going to look towards the future of those children being productive individuals working for companies such as yours.
Yes. And I'd add this, that that's the true spirit of Christmas.
It certainly is.
Attorney General
Yes,
Humphrey, Ed McGlynn from IBM, External Programs Manager. We're very solidly behind your program. Minnesota and Georgia are two great centers of IBM. We have a large number of IBMers who work in both states, and we're very pleased to join with you and other government and community leaders in this grassroots fight against drugs in the 87 counties of Minnesota. Very pleased to be on board with you.
Well, thank you very much. We need that public and private commitment. That's the kind of thing that I think will make this whole process really be productive.
Yes, you can be assured it's teamwork that's going to do it, and we're here to play on that team. So
Thank you.
we're glad to have you as a leader.
Thank you very much, Ed.